All right, guys, I'm here talking to Josiah JoJo Martin. He's still with us, and he's talking about his brand new music, new single, Run On. I think it's so appropriate. It really fits his platform right now. A lot of people know him from this clip that's been circling and has gone viral at a Kirk Franklin concert. Kirk calls him up to sing, and in that moment, he just really pours his heart out. JoJo, speaking about the new music, I think it really fits right now. Can you tell everybody, give us a little information about the music?
Yes, indeed. It really does. Thank you so much. I wrote with PJ Morton, Eric Dawkins, and a writer out of Los Angeles. Her name is Kelly Price. And she wrote some Beyonce songs. And, of course, everybody knows Eric from Dawkins and Dawkins. And we got together in the studio. First it was just me and PJ working on this. And then Eric came through. And Kelly also came through later on that day, and it just was crazy because, we were piecing the song together, and everybody just had major contributions to this song. And I wasn't going through this at the time, so it didn't mean what it means now at all. It's so crazy how God will give you a song before you even go through anything to help you go through and be successful at a test that he wants you to pass. So it was crazy that now, listening back to this song, it's like, this is ministering to me, and it's me, but it's my own song, but it's like people don't understand what it is to go through this. This is tough. This isn't easy. But because I have so much to live for and God is still speaking to me, I have to run on. And so the song says, a reflection of your past will show you just how far you've come. So the question is, why or when? This is now and that was then. And then the vamp says, when it seems too hard, run on. When you can't go on, run on. When it seems too dark, run on. And that's me all day. You know what I'm saying? And I'm running on. And it's not just because I got the song, but because I have no choice. I trust God with everything I have, with everything I'm going through. And I just believe God to be a healer and a deliverer. And I'm so glad that he trusts me to go through this and to struggle with this, because it's helping so many people. And people that have lost faith in God, they've lost trust in God. They see me pushing, and I can't tell you the countless amount of messages and direct messages in my Instagram of people saying that their faith is restored and that their trust is renewed in God, because so many things are happening in the world. Things are happening to people that they never imagined. I'm talking to people that are struggling with the same kidney stuff that I am, and they're so depressed. They couldn't imagine that they would ever have to be going through this. And when they see me pushing and they see me on different videos and different things, it forces them to push, to run on, to keep going. You can't die in something that you're supposed to live with. But when you give up and you bow down to whatever it is you're struggling with, you die with that thing that God has given you the opportunity to live with. I tell all my friends, I've been saying this on every interview, do not pray me out, but pray me through. It's so important that you get through, because there's something on the other side of that you're supposed to learn. But if you give up and everybody's praying you out and God brings you out early, I mean, imagine what you miss. Imagine the opportunities that you forfeit because you don't know how to handle nothing because you failed every test and everybody just prayed you out. You know what I'm saying? And I thank God. I tell people all the time, thank God that he trusts me with this. Through this, God's name is being made great, and he's getting all the glory, and that's all I want. It's not about me. It's about God, and this is to help other people. So I can't sit around complaining and crying and whining about everything I'm going through. I have to be successful in this, and I'm determined, no matter what may come or good, I'm determined to pass this test.
I just don't know what else we can say behind all of that. Jojo, did you ever think in that moment, when you were in that moment and Kurt called you up, did you ever imagine that this would happen, that someone would record it, that it would go viral, that it would have the impact that it's having now?
Never in the world. And we were rushing back. We left right after, rushing back to Atlanta because I had to do dialysis at 5 in the morning. So we were leaving there at like 12. Jacksonville's like 5, maybe 4.5 hour drive, depending on who's driving. So, by the time I even got halfway back to Atlanta, it was already at over 100,000 views. And I'm telling you, that was, like 3 in the morning. And I started getting messages and text messages and just everything about. So I got to dialysis. I fell asleep. By the time I woke up, it was at 1 million views. It was just crazy. And that wasn't even 10 hours later. You know what I'm saying? It was mind blowing. So By the time I got home, PJ's texted me. He's like, yo, this thing has over 1 million views. So by the time he made this flyer that said, we're over 1.5 million views, it was already at 2.8 or something crazy like that. It was, I can't watch it even now without crying still. I mean, it was such a moment for me. I had heard the song, and of course I had seen, that was my second time seeing the concert. I saw it in Atlanta, but I drove to Jacksonville because I just loved it. I wanted to see it again, and I was sick that night. I ended up going in the ICU that same night in Atlanta, and I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. So it was crazy. I just wanted to see it while I was well and feeling good. And so, I see Kirk walking over to me, and I'm like, oh, he's just working the stage. But then when he sits down and everybody starts screaming, sing, JoJo, I'm like, oh, my God, I don't know what I'm going to do. I was so nervous, and I was telling my friend, I said, I don't want to sing. I had seen all my friends do it, and I'm not a competitor type of person. I didn't want it to feel like that. So I pray the same prayer every time before I sing. God, none of me and all of you. And as he started to help me to stand up, I was just praying that God, none of me and all of you. And I closed my eyes and I started singing it. Kirk was telling me the words, and it was like, I got to take this and I got to just talk to God. Kirk says, he sees me, but God, he hears you. So please mention my name. It's like I needed to say those things to God, even though I didn't write those things. What came out of me was just my own, I don't know, just what I needed God to do for me, just intercede for me, hear me. Do you hear me? It's like I was at a desperate point right then, and I couldn't hear anybody, just me and God. I didn't remember anybody being there. I don't remember any of the music playing. It just, I don't know, it's like I spiritually blacked out or something. But when I watched the video back that night, I just cried. I cried and cried and cried because, for one, I couldn't believe that I said all those things because I've been so private about it, because I realized that while people love you and they care, a lot of people don't know how to pray and what to pray. And I don't want necessarily people praying a lot of different things. I just want people to pray God's will. I'm happy with the will of God, whatever it may be. But then when something happens that's contrary to what you prayed, you don't lose it. You don't fall apart because you prayed God's will and not your own will. So that's what I've been asking everybody. Just pray God's will so that when something happens, whether good or bad, that you don't fall apart at the decision that God made. So, it was crazy that night. I don't want to keep talking, but I tell you, my life was changed that night, not just because of the things that people have done and not for the things that God allowed to happen ever since then, but because of the opportunity I got just to talk to God about something so real and so legit in my life. It's just crazy. And then for him to do all of that he did after that, it's like, oh, he did hear me. You know what I'm saying? Mind blowing.
Yeah. JoJo, listen, thank you so much for taking time, for sharing with our listeners your story, your heart. Listen, can you tell everybody how they can connect with you so that they can continue to support you and continue praying for you?
Well, I'm on iTunes, Facebook, Instagram. Now, all the social media things are going to be JoJo's Voice. That's JoJos, V as in Victor, OICE. That's Instagram, that's Facebook, that's Twitter, Snapchat. All of that is going to be JoJo's Voice. And then you can, of course, catch me. I'll be on the Kiara Sheard Bridges Tour with me, Kiara Sheard, and Jordan Armstrong. And that's going to be amazing. That starts in Detroit, Michigan on the 23rd of September all the way through October. So you got plenty of time. And for my Atlanta people, we're here in Atlanta, in my hometown, September 23rd. So make sure you got your tickets and be in the building. You won't want to miss it. This is going to be life-changing. And also, just anywhere, anywhere we post, we're going to be right there. And I thank God for this opportunity to share these things with you and to be a part. I have a foundation called the JoJo Martin Foundation where we will aid other young black men with kidney failure, with renal disease. It's so tough. We don't qualify for we don't qualify for disability because we're so young. We haven't worked long enough. They deny us when we have a legit disease. But a person walks in there with a back pain and they get full disability, hundreds of dollars a month. But we're stuck with SSI, which sometimes can be as low as $200-300 a month, which You can't live off of that. Two of my medicines, one is $2,000. The other one is $1,700. That's just for a 30-day supply. And a lot of them only have Medicare, which I'm grateful enough to have both Medicare and individual insurance, Blue Cross Blue Shield. But a lot of them can't afford individual insurance. So they're stuck with the governmental assisted insurance, and it doesn't cover all that medicine. And so you're stuck having to pay it because you need it to survive. So we want to be able to help them, and a lot of them have single parents, and we want to be able to help with that. So God is opening doors, things are being done, but we need help. We need your help, and you can donate to GoFundMe.com/TJJMF. That stands for the JoJo Martin Foundation. And anything you can do, there's no amount too great or too small. I've seen $5, I've seen $500, I've seen $20. Anything, it all adds up. It's all going to help those people. You can follow it on Facebook. You'll see all the money we gain. And it's just, we're trying to be a blessing. I'm trying to use my life to give glory to God by doing all that I can to help his people and anybody else struggling with this disease that I have. So pray for us, help us, do all you can, tell a friend. My single, Run On, is on iTunes under JoJo Martin, no E, JoJo Martin. And I pray that it blesses you. I pray that it just strengthens you in whatever you're going through. You don't have to be sick. Some people are running on from bad marriages. They're running on from bad jobs. They're running on from unwanted mothers and fathers and just different situations. You got to run on. If you don't take nothing else from what I'm saying to you, my grandma used to say, I believe I'll run on and see what the end is going to be. You owe it to yourself to see the end. If I've been living in darkness for all these years, I want to see what the sunshine looks like. Been struggling too long, been going through too long, not to see God's glory manifested in my life, in your life.